Are we doing a warm-up? We're going to do a warm-up. Do we know how much weight is for the warm-up? Okay, warm-up is going to be 5,000. Okay, I will call off the names. If you would like to warm up, you can just go warm up at any order, but I will call off the names. Our lightweight team today is Don Davis. Don Davis, are you going to warm up? Don is not going to. Okay, our heavyweight pairs, pulling first. Todd and Youngs. Carl Youngs will pull that pair. Carl, are you going to warm up? Oh, they're too close. Gerald Keegan will pull second. Charlie Beeman will pull third. Len Hughes, fourth. John Neal will be fifth. Dwayne Lau, sixth. Todd Youngs, Kevin Todd will pull that pair. Kevin, are you going to warm up? Gerald Keegan, second entry. No. Charlie Beeman, second entry. Don Darnell is 10th. Gene Sova, 11th. And then we have Doug Hayes will pull 12th. So far as I can tell, tractor driver, and our tractor driver is Robert Weir. He's been running the loading tractor and loading these sheets of steel here at Armada for years. We want to thank Robert. Tractor driver, we need weight. So I'm assuming that they're 1,000-pound sheets. They're going to come out, they're going to put 1,000 pounds on to start our lightweight. It's not good to assume these things, but that's where we're going to go. Here comes the tractor driver. Now, Armada has a unique system for horse pull. They have their sled, I think weighs 1,000 pounds, I'm not positive. And then they have these sheets of steel that they put on. They have seats, but our Teamsters deem them not quite safe to sit on. So they take and they put bales of straw on the boat. And the Teamsters sit on the bales of straw. They have a 27.5-foot chain attached to the back of the boat with the tripod, and they really like to see the tripod tip here in Armada. So that's the system that they're using here. But nowhere else in the state of Michigan that I have been do they have this system. Unique to Armada. So we want to welcome you to the Armada Fair and our horse pull. We'll start with our lightweight pair, and that will be Don Davis. And Don Davis is the president of the Michigan Dynamometer Association. They run truck pulls, and he pulls in the boat pulls because it's really hard to run a pull and pull at the same time. So Don comes and pulls with us. And are we going to make this official? Is this going to be 6,000 pounds? The sheets. Sometimes you gotta love it. When we have the stone boat, we count the blocks. At Armada, we have to count the sheets of steel. They're bringing out another sheet. Each sheet is 500 pounds. Okay, so now we're going to have 6,000. All right, they get this sheet of steel on. We will have 6,000 pounds. And when the judges are ready, Don Davis will be our lightweight puller for the day. Don Davis was here this morning to weigh his lightweight horses in. He is pulling Bob, who weighed 1740, and he's pulling Jake, who weighed 1525. So this pair of horses weighs 3265. That's 3,265 pounds. Now in a lightweight pull, the pair of horses has to weigh less than 3,300 pounds. That includes the halters. So we really appreciate Don coming here and getting his horses weighed in. Now there's a red ribbon tied there because it's indicating it's a lightweight. All right, and Don Davis with Bob and Jake have crossed the load of 6,000 pounds. And there are no other lightweight teams, so Don Davis wins our lightweight contest. Well, let's give him a round of applause for winning. And he also will receive the Horsemanship Award. At the end of the contest, Don, we'll take your picture. Okay, we have Todd Youngs. Carl Youngs is bringing out the heavyweights. Do we have to put weight on first? Are we okay? We're okay. All right, 6,000 pounds. And this is the Todd Young's entry, Carl Young driving, and it's Rex and Ben. All right, Carl Young's is across. Our second team will be Gerald Keegan. Now Gerald Keegan has 2 entries, and this entry for Gerald Keegan is Zeb and Rusty. Okay, Gerald Keegan. For Gerald Keegan. Our third entry is Charlie Beeman. Okay, now Charlie Beeman has 2 pair, and he's driving 1 pair. Tommy George is going to drive the other, so if Charlie's pulling this pair, it's supposed to be Jess and Jerry. Jess and Jerry. Michigan, and he's pulling Davy and Chief. Davy and Chief. Hughes. Full pull in Michigan is 27.5 feet, and when they pull the load, they love applause. And they applaud. Dwayne Lau is our next teamster. Excuse me, John Neal. John Neal is our next teamster. John Neal is from Montgomery, Michigan. Then we'll have Dwayne Lau. John Neal's pulling Red and Barney. And a full pull for Red and Barney. Pulling sixth is Dwayne Lau. Dwayne Lau is from Vermontville, and he's pulling Cody and Rex. Full pull for Cody and Rex. Pulling seventh is Todd and Youngs, and Kevin Todd is pulling this pair. And that would be Duke and Billy. Duke and Billy. Full pull for Duke and Billy. Gerald Keegan is our next teamster, and Gerald Keegan is from Montgomery. And Gerald's team, this is the second entry, this is Bummer and Bandit. Bummer and Bandit. Boomer and Bandit, that's one of those. I have Bridges and Crowns, they say the lisp isn't too bad. I'm going to be 66, and I think maybe I should get my cataracts operated on, right? I can see. Okay, we got Boomer and Bandit. Okay, a full pull for Boomer and Bandit. Pulling ninth is Charlie Beeman. And this pair of horses, Tommy George is going to drive. And the horses are Terry Kuchar from Kingfisher, Oklahoma, and Charlie Beeman out of Grand Ledge, with Tommy George doing the driving. And these horses are Duke and Sam. Okay, full pull for Tommy George. Pulling 10th is Don Darnell. Don Darnell from Morley, Michigan. And he's pulling Charlie Darnell and Frank Darnell. It's a full pull for the Darnell. Gene Silva is 11th. Doug Hayes, you're 12th. Gene Solo pulling 11th is from Carleton, a little town down by Monroe. That's Carleton. I'm from the Bay City, Saginaw area, and they have a Carleton there, but it's spelled differently. Gene Sova from Carleton, and Gene is pulling George and Mark. George and Mark. And it's a full pull for Gene Silva. Pulling last, pulling 12th, Doug Hayes. Now Doug Hayes is from Camden. He's pulling Doc and Barney. Now Doug Hayes and Doc and Barney are lightweight pullers. And Doug Hayes was here this morning to weigh the horses in at 9 o'clock, and they were just a little too heavy, so he couldn't get into the lightweight class. So he's pulling at a slight disadvantage. Beautiful horse. All right, they pulled hard. They're lightweights. That's Doug Hayes, Doc and Barney. Pair only weighs 3,535 pounds apiece. Both horses are well under 2,000 pounds. Okay, tractor driver, we need more weight. Keep the steel down. Put their bales and straw back up. Okay, we'll be starting with Todd Young, Gerald Keegan, and Charlie Beeman. Okay, Don Davis is going to come out and get on the boat. Don Davis has come to put on the show. As the sole lightweight team, Don Davis only has to pull once. He does not have to come out and do it. This is great. I can get his picture now. No, I can get your picture. I have a telephoto lens. Okay, so Don Davis come a long ways, and he's going to pull. So he's going to have Jake and Bob pull 7,000 pounds. All right, they love applause, but please, you gotta wait till they're done. Thanks. Good job. Rick, Ben, and Jake, and we appreciate it. And Don Davis can pull as many loads as he'd like. Okay, our heavyweight teams. Our first team to the boat will be the Todd and Young's entry, Carl Young. Now these guys have come all the way down from Reed City or Hawkins. There's no post office in Hawkins, that's where they are. So their mailing address is Reed City, but they are in Hawkins, and they have one heck of a horse pull at Memorial Day weekend in Hawkins. We have Fountain, and then we have Hawkins for Memorial Day weekend. Full pull for Carl Young. Full pull. Gerald Keegan. Gerald Keegan from Montgomery. It's got Zeb and Rusty. Gerald has 2 pairs here today. All right, full pull for Zeb and Rusty. Charlie Beeman from Grand Ledge. Terry Kuchar from Kingfisher, Ohio. Charlie's pulling Jess and Jerry. Full pull for Jess and Jerry. Lenny Hughes. Now, some of these guys, well, Lenny is a blogger. He's also a horse puller, and he was pulling last night up in Cadillac. We had a horse pull in Cadillac, and Lenny Hughes was up in Cadillac pulling with a different pair of horses. Today he has Davey and Chief. So this will be Lenny Hughes, and then we'll have John Neal. All right, the full pull for Lenny Hughes. John Neal. John Neal from Montgomery. And John Neal is pulling Red and Barney. Okay, we now have located the trophies. We have a lightweight first place trophy. And we have a trophy for, this is the National Heavyweight Championship pull. We have a trophy for that.
Attention on the grounds. We have a white Chevy Silverado back in the camping area.
We have
it says
John Neal,
yellow on the side.
Montgomery with red and Barney. Now this hitching or hooking, because there's a hook on the end of the eveners and it has to go into the hook on the end of the boat, is a skilled position. You'll notice that the teamsters are helping each other hitch or hook. So they're called hitchers or hookers. And it's a full pull for Red and Barney from Montgomery. Dwayne Lau. Dwayne Lau's out with Cody and Rex. He's from Vermontville. I believe this is the second contest that Dwayne Lau has had horses out this year. And it's a full pull for Dwayne Lau. Pulling 7th, Todd Youngs. And Kevin Todd is pulling Duke and Billy. Now these guys came down. They're a little further north than we are. Me at least. Close to 200 miles. And it's a full pull for Duke and Billy with Kevin Todd driving. Gerald Keegan. And Gerald Keegan has 2 pairs here with us today. Gerald Keegan is now from Montgomery, Michigan. He had lived in Camden for a long time, and I'm struggling with that, but this pair is Boomer and Bandit. Pull for the Gerald Keegan pair. Bandit and Boomer. Pulling 9th, Charlie Beeman. And the Terry Kuchar pair. And this pair, Tommy George, is driving. And it's Duke and Sam. Duke and Sam. And this is a skilled position, this hitcher hooker. You got to be able to bend, get that hook in the hole, and get out of the way. It's that bending part that gets me. Pull for Tommy George with Duke and Sam. Don Darnell, Moreland, Michigan. He's pulling Frank and Charlie. Pull for the Darnell pair. Now, Lenny Hughes, Don Darnell, pulled last night up in Cadillac. And we're here again today. Gene Silva, it's your load. Gene Silva from Carlton with George and Mark. And then we'll have Doug Hayes. Gene Silva's across and work hard. Pulling hard here. Apparently we have not had any rain down here. We haven't had any rain up north either. Okay, Doug Hayes, our lightweight puller that didn't quite make that lightweight bracket, pulling at a disadvantage. His horses and Davis's are smaller than the others. And he's going to pass. Okay, let's give him a round of applause. We appreciate Doug. He was here for 9 o'clock this morning and he didn't weigh and he stayed anyway. And he pulled his horses to help make our contest. Thank you, Doug. Okay, that means we need more weight. Tractor driver, which is Robert Weir, is our tractor driver. You're gonna put another 1,000 pounds on, Heather? You're the judge, you get to decide. Reed City, Carl Youngs is going to drive Rex and Ben. Full Pole in Michigan is 27.5 feet. Each teamster has 3 attempts to pull the load 27.5 feet in one full pull. You do not take distances and add them together. Okay, the judges are ready. Todd Youngs. Carl Youngs, it's your load. Three attempts. They take the first and second attempt at the same time, and if they cannot pull it in 2, they get to come back at the end of the round and take a third. And right now, we've got everybody in our contest, and everybody's on their first attempt. Pull for Carl Youngs. Gerald Keegan. Gerald Keegan from Montgomery. There is Zeb and Rusty. Full pull, all 27.5 feet for Gerald Keegan. Charlie Beeman, Jess and Jerry. Now, at the end of the boat, there is a 27.5 foot long chain, tags marking 1 foot intervals. The lengths are 1 inch, so they can count tags and lengths. They don't have to do a measuring chain. So this is Charlie Beeman. All right, they have it. They got it, 27.5 feet. So they crossed the load. I believe the judges said that the distance was 26 foot. Eyes first. but it doesn't matter because he pulled it on his second. Lenny Hughes, Nashville, Michigan, Davey and Chief. For Lenny Hughes and Davey. John Neal at Julo. John Neal from Montgomery. We've got Red and Barney. Yes. Okay, first attempt, John Neal had 5 foot even, and on his second attempt, 7'4". And we have Wayne Lau coming out on the boat. Okay, his first distance was 18 foot 6 inches, 23.6, and 23 feet 6 inches on his second. Now it's pulling really hard. Please be quiet while the horses are pulling. And this is Todd Young's, Kevin driving, Duke and Billy. All right, got it across. Todd Young's. Gerald Keegan with his second entry. Now it's pulling real hard out there, guys. So please be quiet while the horses are pulling, and then scream and holler when they blow the whistle. The horses cannot tell the difference between go and whoa. And they kind of react to loud noises and stop. It doesn't actually matter what the noise is. Please be quiet while they're pulling. And this is Gerald Keegan with his second entry of Bandit and Boomer. a full pull for Bandit and Beeman. Okay, Charlie Beeman. Charlie Beeman, it's Beeman and Kuchar. Tommy George driving. Duke and Sam. This is our National Heavyweight Championship pull. When we're done, we have trophies for the first place teams. So if our first place teams did not go away, we will take pictures. We have a monetary award for horsemanship. Okay, he's going to pass his second. He has 7 foot 2 inches on his first attempt. He passes the second. Yes, they love applause. They love it. And Tommy and Duke and Sam can come back at the end of the round and take a third. Our next teamster to the boat is Don Darnell. He's from Morley, Michigan. He's the president of our Michigan Horse Pulling Boat Association. And that is Frank Darnell and Charlie Darnell. Both last night up in Cadillac. We got second place. On their first attempt, and he crossed it on a second. Now, for any of you that don't watch horse pulling, notice how much better they pull when there's 2 of them and they pull together at the same time. Makes it easier. And I can only get away with that because that's my husband. However, I may be looking to ride home. Okay, we have Gene Soba, Carlton, with George and Mark. Repeat that. Okay, Gene and George and Mark had 5'7" on their first, 5'7" and 20 foot even on his second. Okay, Doug Hayes has passed. We have third attempts. We have John Neal, who has a distance of 7 foot 4 inches. We have Dwayne Loud, who has a distance of 23 feet 6 inches. Charlie Beeman with Tommy George driving is 7 foot 2. And then we have Gene Silva, who has 20 feet. So each of the teams get 3 attempts to pull the load 27.5 feet. They take the first and second consecutively. They'll come back at the end of the round and take a third. Now when they come back at the end of the round to take a third, they get a choice of direction if they're between the ribbons. So we have John Neal, who's going to come for a third, and he gets to pick his direction. And neither direction looks good from up here. He almost made it. Okay, I need you to repeat that. 22.6. 22.6. Let's give him a big round of applause. 22 feet, 6 inches. We'll place him in our contest. Dwayne Lau. He just got 22.6. You got him. It's 23.6 for Dwayne Lau. This is a sport of inches and feet. So Dwayne Lau, bringing out the horses. He gets a choice of direction. He's picked it. And he wants to get 27.5 feet. Okay, he had a distance of 15'8". 15'8", so 23 feet, 6 inches, places him in our contest. Let's give him another round of applause. We appreciate Dwayne coming and pulling his horses. Okay, the Charlie Beeman, Terry Kuchar pair, driven by Tommy George. His best distance is 7'2". He has it. Does he have a choice of direction? He has a choice of direction. All right, he's picking his direction. Now, horse pulling is one sport where sometimes the guys do ask for help picking direction. Tommy George picks his own direction there. That's good, Tommy. Tommy George with Duke and Sam. Their best distance is 7 foot 2 inches. That's 27.5 feet. Okay, let's give him a round of applause. We'll get a distance. 2'4". Got 2'4", so 7'2". We'll place him in our contest. Another round of applause for Tommy George. All right, brings us down to Gene Silva. His best distance is 20 feet. So 20 feet. He has a choice, a direction, and they always have the choice of passing, by the way, at any time. Some of the guys have been out pulling quite a bit during the summer, and some guys have only been out a couple times. If you like horse round of applause, we appreciate them coming. We have rosettes to give out. We'll do that back at the trailers. If there's anybody else that would like the picture taken, we'd be happy to. Now, any of you who are friends or relatives of our Teamsters, they are off to the north. They're taking their horses out there. They're out there at their trailers. You can go visit them. Okay, they've got the trophies. Crystal